The preview for next Tuesday. A friend of Mark's is a pastor, and she lives in Oklahoma, and she's flying here to she's flying to talk to us about spirits. And Mark, what is she is able to see spirits or talk to them?
I think I'm just going to leave it up to her.
Yeah. She has special spiritual gifts, and it's going to be interesting. She's combining it with visiting family. It's not just us. But it is going to be an extraordinary visit because she's really well-liked personality out in Oklahoma. So look forward to that.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dave, for the snapshot preview of next week. Should be interesting as usual. Every Tuesday morning presentation is, at least for me, is fantastic. New information, nothing that's repetitive. And as we look forward, I think it's on October 14th, I think, is it, Dave? We'll have the organ, another silent movie presentation by our maestro Wayne Zimmerman, and that will be in the sanctuary like we did the last one. So that's on, I think, October 14th. Okay, open with prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering of the Tuesday morning fellowship. Thank you for enabling us to be here, enjoy the fellowship with each other, and to hear new things, and to hear the wonders of what the farm is doing for those that need their services. Be with them in their journey, in their education, their programming, as they go through this year and on towards the future. Bless their work as they continue to serve all of us. Ask that you be with all those that could not be with us today, for whatever reason that would be. And give those that are in need of your healing touch and grace, the healing power that you instill in them. And bless this day. Amen.
Amen.
So Ann, would you come up and do the introduction, please?
Okay, good morning all. Glad to be back, although I love the beach. I met Jeanette at Longwood Gardens because she was in charge basically of the docent program there. And she was an extreme help to all of us. She did such a fantastic job. And we were very sad to see her go, but she had gotten, I think you volunteered at the barn, right? And then a position opened up and she decided to leave Longwood and pursue this, God, I'm sure, sent her that message that she needed to do this. So without further ado, I'll have Jeanette come on.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm delighted to share the story of the barn with you all. Ann is correct. I worked at Longwood for about 2.5 years, and an opportunity came up where I learned about the barn. So I started doing a little bit of work there, and then they saw my capabilities and they were in need of an executive director, and so they said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know that I want that." But it was a blessing, and it really worked out remarkable. So it's been a year of growth. We went through a lot of changes with personnel, but it's really coming together, and I'll give you a quick overview of what the barn is all about. So the mission of the barn is to help children with disabilities pursue their best lives. We deal with children of all abilities. We have a lot of autism spectrum children who attend our programming, Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, chromosomal disorders, a variety of things. Some can walk, some can talk, some can't do either of those things. So it is a very special place. We provide animal and nature-based activities for the children. We're on a 17.5-acre farm. The original founder was Mary Beth Drobish, which may be in the next slide. Let me see. Yep, it is. So she started this, and I actually met a few people who knew Mary Beth, which is really cool. She started this in 2004. She had a vision. Her husband had passed away, and she owned this beautiful farmhouse with all this land, and was like, what do I do? So she said in a dream, her horse Geronimo came to her and said, "You need to help kids with disabilities understand how beautiful farms are and what animals can do for them." So She built the barn. There was a shell of it, but rebuilt the barn, which is spectacular. I would love for you guys to come out and see it. There's no hardware in it. It's all mortise and tenon. It's a gorgeous barn. And the first programming started in 2005, very, very small. It was a backyard project. We had a few people come with their children who had disabilities. And then in 2006, we ended up having a little bit more programming start up after school. And in 2008, they had their first summer camp. It was a week-long camp for children with cancer. So, and then from there, it just sort of grew. It really became more and more popular right around 2012 to 2015. So we have a beautiful barn loft, which we have all kinds of fun activities for the kids to do there. We have a sensory gym that was recently donated by a very generous donor, which the kids really love. Downstairs in the lower part of the barn, we have 18 farm animals. We have 2 Sicilian donkeys, which are a miniature breed. We have 2 miniature horses. We sadly lost. We had 3. We sadly lost 1 this summer. They're all seniors. They're all in their 20s, so it's hard right now. One of our donkeys is 29. So Bert, he's awesome. We have 2 baby doll sheep, which get really fluffy. So in the spring, we do a socialization event where we shear them and the kids get to watch them take this, and they do it in all one piece, this giant wool off of them. We have lots of goats. We have 6 Nubian goats, which are a larger breed, which you'll see pictures of, and 3 Nigerian goats, which are smaller. We have a potbelly pig named Nancy, who is raised with dogs, and she will sit for an apple, and she's housebroken, so she goes out in the day and in at night. And then we have Slinky, is our 22, actually just turned 22-year-old barn cat, who, believe it or not, still hunts and leaves me presents occasionally. Open the barn door, I'm like, oh, thank you, Slinky. And then we have a buck. So we serve children ages and teens, ages 2 to 17. We do summer camp, Camp Geronimo, for 6 weeks in the summer. Kids come for a week-long program. It's from 9 to 2, and we're allowed up to 16 children. And we do that for 6 weeks. And then in the fall and in the spring, we do our individual program, which is after school. So it's anytime between 2 and 6 p.m. Children come for an hour, and they get to experience different programming then as well. And then we have a teen day, which is my favorite day. It's 13 to 17-year-olds, and these young people come and they actually learn farm chores. So they muck the stalls, they help do the gardening, they weed, they'll clean up outside, they rake. It's a special time. We have 2 of them that come in together. One of them has Downs and the other one has some kind of chromosomal disorder, and they're both in high school. I think they're sophomores, and they come in with their music and they each have their job, and they grab their buckets and they just get going, and they're, dancing while they're doing it. It's really cute. It's really fun. So last year we served 477 children for a total of 3,000, almost 200 program hours. We have heavily rely upon volunteers. We had over 350 volunteers doing nearly 6,500 hours of service. So we could not do what we do without volunteers. And I'll get into that a little bit more. And I talked about our programming. So we do 4 socialization events. We do 1 in the spring, 1 in the summer, 1 in the fall, and then a winter one. Because a lot of the children who come to our camp or come to any of our programming can't go to a mall and meet Santa. It's overwhelming. It's scary. So we have Santa. He actually came from Devereaux. We had Elsa and a variety of other people kind of come in for that, which was super special. The kids had a blast. And then we do field trips. So we're allowed at this point, we have a lot of restrictions into Pocopson Township. So we're only allowed 6 field trips in the spring and 6 field trips in the fall. We're hoping to change that. But we work with schools like Overbrook School for the Blind, Royer School for the Blind, Elwyn, a lot of ED or emotionally disturbed kids. We have also a lot of life skills and autism classes that come from local Chester County area and Philly. A lot of Philly folks. And those are really fun to see because these kids have never seen a farm animal ever. So this is our outdoor learning center. And I'm so sorry. Who was the gentleman I spoke to about help in the back there? He helped build that treehouse. Thank you. 2014. It is our area is fully handicap accessible. So getting from the lower part of the barn to the upper part of the barn is all ramps. The treehouse is also ramp driven, and then we have a ramp. We do hay rides for the kids. So we have created a ramp where Chris, our facilities manager, can just drive right up, and we can get the wheelchairs right on there. So it's pretty special. So we have here's some pictures of some kids in a mud kitchen. They're doing some yoga. We have a music area. So this young lady's putting on a concert for her counselors. We do have a vegetable garden, which the kids really enjoyed this year. They were there. She was going to make zucchini pancakes with that giant zucchini, and she was very excited. And then we do scavenger hunts, and then music is very popular with the kids. So we actually were donated a drum set, and that started the whole thing this year with karaoke. It was really fun. So, so this is a little bit. Camp Geronimo is ages 6 to 12. We have 16 children a week, and we do a 1-to-1 counselor-child ratio, sometimes 1 to 2. So we have 10 paid counselors, so everybody else who comes are volunteers. So we are incredibly blessed, and we have usually between 20 to 24 people who commit to the week. So we have a lot of volunteers. We also do a PCAP program, which is a professional clinical affiliated program. So students who are in their first year can come to us and get clinical hours. So we work with a variety, Immaculata, Salis, Drexel, Widener, and a few other schools, and they send students to us. So it's always pretty special because it's very unique for them. If they're an OT student or if a psychology student, this is a very different setting for them. So they get to experience how animals and nature affects the children's behavior and how they respond. So these are just a few photos of some of our adorable kids this summer. Longwood Fire Company comes once a week and they spray water, and the kids are able to hold the hose. So it's this summer, which was so hot, it was very refreshing to have them come. Bailey's brings a baby calf and a mama cow, so the kids get to bottle feed the animals. We do horse painting. We have a magical unicorn arrive one day. We do horse walks, goat walks, grooming, and we also have a gentleman who has handicapped dogs, two-legged dogs, and so he comes once a week, and the kids get to experience, see that, hey, look, animals have disabilities too. So it's pretty special. It's a pretty special week for the kids. And we wrap it all up with a talent show at the end of the week that the parents get to come to, and that is a hoot. We have comedians, we have musicians, karaoke. It's pretty funny. So here you can see these are our larger goats. Those are our Nubian goats. They're awesome. They're amongst my favorite because they're just so easy. Kids love to feed them because they only have bottom teeth and not top teeth, so they can't really bite you. So if you get your hand in the back of your mouth, you're in trouble. But in the front, no problem. So and then these are just some more photos of there's the Longwood Fire Truck. We do one thing in this picture here that you can see. On Thursdays, we have a giant snowball fight. So it's equal parts cornstarch and shaving cream. And when you mix it really well, you really can make a snowball. So the kids love it. It's very sensory. So they really enjoy it. A lot of children with autism are really sensory focused. So smell, feel, vision is really important to them. So you see them just working it in there, but we get pretty messy on that day for sure. So our individual program, like I said, it's a variety of ages. Here's some pictures of our teens. They're doing some raking for us in the fall. And this is one young man with one of our donkeys. That's Sugar, who's the baby. He's 13, who is Speaker of the House, which if you come visit, you'll totally understand why he's Speaker of the House. So it's not a quiet animal. So the main goal and best thing that we can offer these children is socialization skills. So when they are together, it is amazing to see how they influence each other and how they encourage each other to do things. The animals are really quite special. Our biggest success story is a story about a young lady named Alana who started our programming at the age of 6. She was completely nonverbal. Her parents had moved here from another state and was very frustrated with some of the offerings for her daughter. So they found the barn, and she started coming to the individual program. And after one full session, which was 6 weeks, she bonded with a horse named Dreamer. And mom tells the story as I didn't know whether to kill her or to love her, because one day she just looked at Dreamer and said, "Hi, Dreamer, my name's Alana. Won't you be my friend?" And mom was like, "You had all that in you this whole time?" And now she is 18. She is enrolled in Westchester University. She's a psychology student. She drives a car, and her parents are like, "We never thought she'd even speak." So it is amazing how animals sort of like lower the blood pressure and make children feel at ease, and they're not afraid to open up to them. So when they find that connection, it's like, wow. So we have another young lady that we're getting ready for a big hoedown, which is our big fundraiser. We make 1/3 of our revenue at this, and we have a parent coming to speak. And similar story, her daughter was 4 when she started coming to the barn, didn't speak at all. She's been to both our individual programming and camp, which she loves. And she's, I mean, I worked with her on Friday, and she's like, it's there, and they're like, we still can't believe that she's like this now after so many years of nonverbal. So it's pretty special. And the other things we sort of work on is just basic skills, following directions, multi-step directions, safety, understanding your surroundings, how to be safe in that environment. And really just to have fun. So we have a new program director who is fantastic, and she's really working to come up with some phenomenal themes for the kids for the fall and spring programs. So we just recently got 2 new friends. We have 2 new parakeets. Their names are Saquon Birdley and Kyle Schwarber. And they're adorable. And Saquon has a lot of energy, that bird. Let me tell you, around the cage. But so last week we did Bird Week, and she had the kids making little nests and bird feeders, and they got to go in and watch the birds and do a whole bunch of stuff. So it's really fun to see the kids get excited about it. And then of course she coupled it with the eagles, because I mean, the birds, right? So she had like a football thing set up and an obstacle course. And so we're not technically an educational facility, and we're not technically a therapeutic facility. We're not licensed to do that, but we call it experiential learning. I mean, kids are learning through the experiences. They're gaining occupational therapy, they're gaining core strength, they're gaining skills, they're gaining focus. So it's really technically like rec therapy, but we're not licensed to call it that. So here's a couple of samples of our socialization events. So you can see that is a giant hunk of wool from one of the sheep, all in one piece. We do a summer fest, which we do a lot of water play. I couldn't get a great picture from that one. And then up there is last winter when we did our winter fest. We had Ilsa there, and then one of our little friends dressed up as Ilsa. So that was a special moment of the 2 Ilsas together enjoying. So this is provided at no cost to families in the community. Anybody can come. We just kind of want to spread the word, and we find that our campers and our kids who are in programming love to bring their families to these and show off what they learned and what they did at camp and in their programs. So field trips, that's a little bit that I talked about earlier. So these are really my pride and joy. It is amazing to watch what these kids see and experience when they come. Many of them are nonverbal, many of them have mobility issues, and they come and they can, touch a donkey or walk a horse. In the sensory gym, this is a class from Elwyn, and none of these kids could walk. They all needed mobility help. And to see their faces with the sensory toys that are in there and the soft play, and they're pushing it at each other, it warms your heart. So it's a very special. They come from 10 to 1 on weekdays. They can have picnic lunches. So if it's a lousy day, they eat inside the barn loft. But if it's a nice day, they can be outside in our outdoor learning center. And they're welcome. They start out with a hay ride, which a lot of them have never been on that either. So it's pretty cool. And then we get into animal feeding and walking and then free play. And the biggest sort of feel-good thing we had some chalkboards up there, and in all honesty, I'd forgotten to put them away. They're just little signs. So I'd left them out on one of the counters with the basket with the markers, and it started a trend last year. So every field trip was writing us these little notes like, "This was the best day ever. We can't wait to come back to the barn." So it feels really good when you know that you've made some children smile who've never had the opportunity to experience anything like this. This is just a quick snapshot of our sort of finances and expenses, just so you can get an idea that we get about 20% of our income from grants, which are generally not government. They're usually privately funded grants. And then we make about 11% from our programming. But the rest is all donations. So we're really heavily based on donations. 70% of our income comes from donations. Fundraising, we do 2 fundraising events. We do our hoedown, which is open to the public in the fall, and then we do a spring event, which is a little bit more exclusive just because we don't have the space. We are restricted to only do 4 events at the barn right now for Cobson Township. So we do 3 socialization events there and our hoedown. So, and then this was just sort of a general survey of our parents that gives you an idea that 99% of all of our caregivers said that camp was a good experience for their children, and 84% would come back, but that's taking into account that 11% aged out. So they do age out at the age of 12. So, and some of the things we sort of work on with them: communication skills, safety skills, socialization, and sensory. And as I said, we're very heavily reliant upon volunteers. So we have a lot of corporate groups. Once a month, we have corporate groups come in and they do amazing work for us. This is a PICO group. There were 21 of them that came, and they came in the spring, and it was phenomenal. They cleaned up the whole barn after winter, and then they went outside and cleaned up the whole outdoor center. So we have, in the summertime, they don't come just because of camp programming, but we do have the corporate groups come, and then volunteers who help us with our programming. So this is a group of young ladies who were part of our PCAP program who got together with Sugar, our looker. So this is a snapshot of our animals, all here. There's not quite everyone, but almost everyone in there. Yeah, and now we have a short video. So this video was made during COVID. So you're going to see a lot of masks. We need to update it, but it is a nice overview of the barn.
Set among the rolling hills of Chester County, Pennsylvania, is The Barn at Springbrook Farm, a nonprofit organization that enriches the lives of children with disabilities through animal-assisted activities. Magical, special, and unique are all words that have been used to describe The Barn, a leading regional resource committed to providing children with disabilities and their families with hands-on farm and nature-based experiences. Experiences that bring joy and provide participating children with opportunities to pursue their best lives. The Barn was founded in 2005 by Mary Beth Drobish, an animal lover and the former owner of the 17-acre property on which the barn resides. She understood the healing impact animals can have on humans, and with that insight, created an environment where children with unique abilities can grow and thrive through interactions with small farm animals and nature.
So we know a lot about the human-animal bond. Areas of functioning for children, especially for children with disabilities, is significant. In a place like the barn, there is something different that is happening than it might be happening in a classroom or in a doctor's office or PT office. And what the research is doing is seeking to unpack that. We now have scientific evidence that there is, in fact, an impact of this bond.
Each year, hundreds of children with a wide variety of physical and developmental disabilities benefit from the barn's in-person and virtual programs, including one-on-one individual programs, summer camp, educational field trips, and seasonal socialization events. Children develop connections with the animals through feeding, grooming, and more. The barn is home to many miniature farm animals. The animal's small size proves less intimidating. Through participating in animal-assisted activities, children gain independence and feel empowered as caretakers. Children also enjoy the benefits of an outdoor learning center, which is filled with multiple gardens that attract birds and butterflies, stimulate the senses, and even produce vegetables. Not to mention a wheelchair-accessible treehouse, a labyrinth, and a musical soundscape.
It's just wonderful because when I talk about it, he just lights up. Like, we're gonna go to the barn, buddy, and he gets so happy. I mean, he just loves it.
The barn relies on the generosity of financial supporters, foundations, and businesses, as well as nearly 300 volunteers annually to operate. Volunteers come from all walks of life. Many are students from regional colleges and universities seeking to fulfill clinical requirements for their degrees in fields such as occupational therapy and special education. The barn serves as a learning facility for clinical students to provide quality one-to-one support for participating children, all the while helping to shape the future of our region's human services, education, and allied health professionals.
Kids with special needs really benefit from any time with animals. It takes a lot of pressure off their social interactions, and there's something magical that happens. There's some special connection that they just form instantly. I call it a magical place because that's how I see it.
It's wonderful to see the kids improving each day. You know, you really saw a difference day to day with the kids and how they just started to open up and express themselves as they got more comfortable with the routine here and the different things that they had to offer.
Without the generosity of volunteers and funders, the barn would cease to exist.
Probably about 15 years ago, became involved in helping out at the barn to help others. And I think that becomes infectious. I think that passion is still vivid in the employees, in the staff, in the volunteers, and certainly the reward is to the families that come to the barn and they receive hope. Get involved because it's very rewarding for people like me, and I think it would be rewarding for anyone who wants to see such greatness happen.
To learn more about the barn at Springbrook Farm, visit springbrook-farm.org.
Great. So that's just kind of a quick
5 words you pronounce wrong 2 years before your brain starts shutting down. Dementia is now known as type 3 diabetes, according to the Mayo Clinic, where doctors have made a shocking discovery that changes everything we know about memory loss and mental decline. So if you or a loved one is often forgetting things or suffering with brain fog, then you must see this. After 3,400 brain scans and years of clinical research, an award-winning brain health expert
Oh, fabulous. Thank you. All right. So that's really it in a nutshell. And it is true. We really do see the kids change so much especially in camp when they're there for 5 hours a day. They start out real quiet, and the next thing you know, they're bonding with their friends and running around and having a great time. So it is a very special place. So I'm honored to be a part of it and very grateful for this time here to share it with you. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Yes.
How do you get on their mailing list?
If you want to you can pop me an email. You can get on our website and email our regular info line. But yes, we do quarterly newsletters, and usually that sums up all the stuff we do. But you can find all that information on our website. I'm also happy to leave. I think I have some cards in my bag. I'll leave some here, and you guys can reach out. That way you can kind of keep informed of what's happening.
What is the date of your hoedown?
Our hoedown is October 11th. So it's from 6 to 9:30. And it is really a hoedown. It's jeans, flannel shirts, cowboy hats. We do a silent and live auction. We have barbecue. It's a fun time. And it is open to the public. There's information on the website. Tickets are for sale. They're $125 each. I might be able to hook you up though if you need one. Yes.
So I have a grandson that would walk across hot coals just to pet a goat. And is there times that you're open that I could bring him by?
So we're generally not open to the public, but if you reach out to us, we do family barn visits. So, and that's an hour-long experience where you get to meet the animals and play in the outdoor learning center, and you get to feed them and groom them. So yes, he could definitely come meet the goats.
Just set up in advance.
Yes, just give us a call or email us, and as long as you have, we have a date and a time set aside, we'd be happy to have you. Yeah. Yes.
What drew you to working with people with special needs, with children with special needs?
So before Longwood, I worked in the school system, the public school system in Fairfax, Virginia. My husband was in the Navy for 26 years. And so we ended up, as most military folks do, in Washington, D.C. And so I had long time given up my career. I was marketing and French major in school, and I long time gave that up for moving all around the world with my husband. And so I got involved in the school system. So I started at the middle school level and then went into the high school level, and my principal oversaw special education. So I got to experience these amazing young people who would just make me smile from ear to ear every day. I mean, there was one girl who used to come in. It was like an A-B schedule. So every other day she would come in. She did not like her English teacher. She just couldn't see eye to eye with her. So she'd come in and she had like a carte blanche. She could just come sit in the office, and I was an assistant. So I was an admin. And she would come in and there'd be chairs there, and she'd just cop squat and she'd sit there. And if you've ever seen the movie The Breakfast Club, she had like hair that came down and hit her. And so, I'd say, "Good morning, Faith," every morning. She wouldn't respond. And so one day we had another young man who was special needs also, and he was the opposite of Faith. He was like, but he was like the Debbie Downer. His life for him was a glass half full. So we would tease him all the time. We're like he got a puppy, and he's like, "Ryan, you got a puppy. This is great." He's like, "Yeah, but he keeps me up at night." And I'm like, "Ryan, you have a puppy," So he started complaining about something at some point, and I heard this little, and I was like, "What is she doing?" So I'm like, "Hey, Faith, you got something to say about that?" And then it was like, and then every day it was, "Hi, Miss Cognati, how are you?" Da, 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 da. So, the patience of waiting for that and seeing that is just, it just melts your heart. So, and I'll never forget on senior picture day, she came in and she was dressed like in this beautiful dress and her hair and makeup all done. And she walked in and I looked at her, and I probably shouldn't have said this, but I was like, "Vava Voom Face, look at you, you look amazing," because here she was like all of a sudden like this all grown up beautiful human. So so that's how I sort of got to work with a little bit with children with special needs. They were much more high functioning coming in and out of the office. We do have many here who are very low functioning, isn't really, but who suffer from some severe disabilities. So but it is really special to just see them. We had a field trip come last week with Brook School of the Blind, and they were older kids, so they were ages 20 to 22. And there was one boy who's completely nonverbal in a chair, but the minute you brought an animal up to him, his whole face lit up and he smiled and laughed. And the staff were just, they were amazed. They're like, he doesn't do this. So it's really special to see. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
A long time ago in the history of the barn, did they have assisted writing for those children with disabilities, or was it a different place in Bacop?
There's a different place in Bacop, so you're thinking it's called, I think it's called Quest, I believe. Yeah.
Thorncroft, she said. Okay.
Yeah, and there is a Thorncroft too. That's closer to Glen Mills area. But yeah, there are a couple of therapeutic riding centers. We are not licensed to do that, and our horses are too small, so we don't do that. But that is an incredibly beneficial service for children with disabilities and adults. It's core strength and balance, and we find that a lot of the children that come to our programming also do therapeutic riding because it really helps get them the strength that they need to be a little more independent in terms of moving. So
have your administrators, has your board thought about the possibility of taking animals into a school?
So I think in the past we did have a trailer. I'd have to dig pretty deep. I don't know enough about it. Our horses are all pretty old now, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but it is something we're thinking about, trying to maybe regenerate, and maybe even getting involved in some of the parades or something, but it's gonna take a little bit of time to get there, so, but yeah, it would be special to be able to do that. We've taken the bunny around, for sure, because the bunny is easy to move.
I know of a school, it's a high school, it's a STEM academy up in Downingtown, as a matter of fact, where the principal has a good working relationship with a shelter, an animal shelter, and they come occasionally with a van, and I think they had a pot-bellied pig once. These are high school students, and during their lunch break, when they had a little free time to go outside, or a secretary would come walking down the hall with a great big dog and come right into your classroom. Kids respond to that.
They do. They really do. Animals, I mean, they make us all smile, right? I mean, they're unconditional love. I mean, there's nothing like going home to your dog and it's like they haven't seen you in a year. And they're like, oh. So it is a special, special
Even
thing.
when you go out to the mailbox.
Exactly. You could be gone like 30 seconds and they're just like, you're back. Yeah, it's pretty special. Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate this. It's lovely to be here. Wonderful to meet you. I will definitely leave some cards on the back table, but I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. So, thank you.
Jeanette, thank you so much for that great introduction and overview of what's going on at the barn over there. It's fascinating. And I just sitting there and listening to you talk about it, it was exciting because one, just seeing the pictures that you showed of the kids and how they seem to be reacting to what's going on was heartwarming. But you can tell by your presentation the love that you have for those kids, because it just brings joy in your voice.
It does.
And they certainly have the right executive director over there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So again, thank you, Jeanette, for coming and sharing with us. So that wraps it for today.